So I told you I'd respond to anyone that PM'd the show Facebook page regarding Tim's departure from the show. And so I've been going through these this weekend and some great questions. Before I get to the questions, it's important for you guys to understand that I'll be as transparent as humanly possible. I mean, there are certain things I can say, there's certain things I can't say because it's not for me to say. I read through a lot of the comments on our Facebook page too, and I understand the anger from a lot of people. I get it. I don't get mad at anybody that bashes me or the show. I mean, there's nothing I can do about your opinion. I'm all for your opinion. I love the passion. I think it's fantastic. I've seen it before. I appreciate it. I think it's fantastic. I can't force you to listen to the show. This is a very good show. It's going to be even better show. It's going to get better. But that's the business that we're in. You know, me personally, Tim is one of the most talented people I've ever worked with in the business. It's up to Tim to tell you his side of the story. I can answer questions that you ask us. But, you know, some people that are blaming me for everything because of, for whatever reason, that's fine. I mean, because I host the show, I'm going to get a lot of heat. I get it. I'll take it. That's fine. If it makes you feel better, blame away. That's fine. I had no problem meeting you out one night, have a beer or drink with you, and you can pick my brain all you want. You know, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to fight you on stuff like that. I really am not. Like I said, I appreciate it. So some of the questions that were private message. The reason, by the way, I asked you to private message the show Facebook page was so there wouldn't be a running thread of people speculating on somebody's career or something that happened with this show, or reading something in a newspaper. Whether you buy into everything you read or not, it's up to you. Mark Dodd asked, did Tim get fired or did he quit? I listen every single day and thought he may have been on vacation. Sad to see him go. It was, from my understanding, now look, I don't know everything. I don't know the details that went into Tim's departure. I know that it was ultimately his decision. I can say that because that's all I know. Some people were asking, like, why didn't you address it on the air? And trust me, I would have. I mean, the same thing we did with Seabass. You know, shows that I've had prior, I always address it because that's just a respect thing. I mean, unless they were a total dick, and Tim obviously was not that guy. But I didn't know all the details. I really didn't until I found out the official statement from the company. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what Tim's decision was, what he was going to do. Dave Benes, Benes. Bailey, I really enjoy listening to you guys in the morning. It really stinks that Tim is gone. I just want to know if Tim is okay with all this. Rodney Ho made it out like he was pissed off because Nate wasn't let go first. Anyway, I love the show and listen every morning. I haven't read Ho's article or the latest article. I don't, so I'm not familiar with it. Nor do I really care to read it, to be honest with you. I don't think Tim was pissed at Nate being let go first. Tim was one of the biggest fans of Nate joining the show. Nate joined the show strictly, I mean, his role on the show is we needed help with social media. That's why we call him the Digi-Dude, just to give him a name so people that aren't, you know, diehard listeners of the show, like a lot of you guys with the passion, and whether it's the good or the bad, there's a lot of people out there. Remember, there's 6+ million people in Atlanta that aren't familiar with A, the show, or B, the characters on the show, including myself, and believe it or not, including Steve. So you kind of have to give somebody a title so they know, especially when they don't have a big on-air role like Nate does. Nate was brought on the show for web, for social media, for video stuff, for going out on the streets, talking to people, doing it in his style, to work with Brandy as assistant producers. That's why Nate was brought on the show. Nate wasn't brought on the show to, and it was a group effort. I don't hire people. It's not, I don't tell the show and say, hey, look, we're hiring people. We're going to do this. I don't do that. That's not how I host shows. I'm a very democratic host where I get everyone's input because more brains are better than one, especially this one up here. So I'm a big team guy. But also in there, I just want to know if Tim okay with all this. It was his decision from what I understand. So I guess. Anthony Sheehan. You stated you were transparent. So let's see. I've been Facebook friends with Tim for years and understand that it is now your show. Now I just host the show. It's our show. You have talent. Thank you. Why would you keep Southside Steve over Tim? That's the question, the first question. Again, I'm not making these calls. That's not a question that I can answer because I don't hire and fire people. That's way above my pay grade. That's not me. Tim is not a self-promoter and the brunt of jokes, so does he not offer intelligent, thoughtful, humorous? I'm guessing because Steve Pryor in the old show, which is not what we do now, was the brunt of jokes. For the past 10 months, actually, when I teamed up with Steve, that was one of the first things I said to Steve. I said, we got to get you out of being the 50-year-old stunt boy because that's ridiculous. You've got way too much to offer and you have way too big of a fan base than to be a stunt boy at 50 years old. So Steve hasn't been that guy for the past 10 months. We go back and forth and rib on each other just like guys do, but it's 50-50 split. Steve is on the air only because of Larry Sachs. I think his name's Wax, right? Right? And Larry could make him the brunt of his jokes. You have decided, but I think you let your genius go for a sounding board. Listen, yet you have not made me laugh yet. Step it up, fellas. Steve is not funny. I think Steve's funny. I think the show's funny. Everybody's funny. It's a different kind of funny. I know a lot of you were like the diehard listeners of this time slot on this radio station, and God, I've been waiting for a long time to address this, have been used to a certain type of show in which I can appreciate. Like, I have nothing bad to say about radio personalities in general, whether they're old radio personalities from this show, from this radio station or across the country. That's one thing that sucks about our business is we don't support each other. I think anybody that is on the radio obviously got there somehow and has some type of talent and something to offer, and there's somebody out there that appreciates what they do, especially if they take the time to sit there and go, this guy's doing his best to entertain me. I know everybody has different flavors. I might not be your flavor. I might not make you laugh like other people might made you laugh. It's a different flavor, man. If you don't think Steve is funny, you don't think Steve is funny. I personally kind of think he's funny. Charlie Ramey. Hey, Jason, what happened with Andrews? Kind of addressed that. Decided to leave the show. Did he go to a different show or what? That I don't know. I don't know what his plans are for the future. Love the show. I'm a big fan, just concerned fan of Tim's. So am I. Thanks in advance. Keep the good work on the show, bud. Heather, Denny, did you all Tim was leaving, or was it a spur of the moment? Did you all know Tim was leaving, or was it a spur of the moment? Yes, I would probably say it was a spur of the moment because he was not there for a couple of days and he was dealing with management, and again, that's a private conversation, and I'm sure if Tim wants to address it, Tim can address it. With that, I can add, is there heat with Tim Andrews? No. I mean, I've texted him a few times, asked if he's okay. He's responded. I personally, I don't get caught up in that kind of stuff. And I think Tim's too smart and talented to do that either. Suzanne Sledge, that's a cool name. Hey, Jason, was this a numbers decision made by the station? I mean, Tim, as far as I could see, was an asset all the way around and seemed to be the glue of the show. It's hard for me to see how he was so disposable. But I have a feeling this might have been more about getting budget numbers in line instead of someone doing a bad job. I'm really sad to see Tim go. Thanks for your response in advance. XX. No, I don't think so. I don't think it, because Cumulus, the company we work for, They just had some changes in upper management, and again, despite what you read, the company is in no shape, form, or fashion going to go bankrupt. The station isn't going to go anywhere. The show's not going anywhere. Everything's fine. I don't think that had anything to do with it, to be honest with you. I think just the role Tim was in as an executive producer was not fitting for him. He didn't like it. Eric Franson. Hey guys, longtime listener and big fan. The comments on this are super shitty, so I wanted to reach out. I'm guessing the thread, and I haven't read through the entire thread. I saw some of them, but I haven't read through all of them. Is there anything you can share? Is there the possibility he will come back? I know nothing of the radio biz, but I cannot believe the comments that are on the thread. Either way, I'll continue to listen. Thanks for getting me through the morning commute. Still a fan, Eric Franson. Thank you, Eric Franson. Is there anything's possible? I mean, God knows. Who knows? I mean, I've heard stuff in that room about prior people that have been around that they'd never work together again because of poor working relationships and negative love and all that stuff. But you never know. You can trash somebody one day and end up working with them the next. You know, it's just the business. Again, you got to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, support your family, find a job. I always find that not only this business but life is a lot easier, you know, when you start focusing on solutions versus harping on problems. Alex Tarantino. I don't know if you can answer this, and if you do, I give my word I won't repeat it or blast on social media. Was Tom's departure related to what he said about Bert the other day? Was Tim's departure related to what he said about Bert the other day? Somebody else brought that up too, and I asked Brandy to go back and pull the audio because I had no idea what they were talking about, and I asked Steve, and we kicked it around in the room one day. I was like, what the hell did he say? And I think it was something about drug use, dealing with Bert. I had no idea. It was just like, I think, a quick joke from Tim and then just moved on. But no, I didn't even remember it. So I think I can honestly say that it had nothing to do with it. Brandy Bergstrom. No morning show or no Tim. I didn't hear that he was leaving. I'm so confused by that post. Sorry. No morning show or no Tim. No Tim. Still a morning show, just no Tim. Christopher Ray Worthy. This is long, so give me a second. Bailey. Sorry to hear about the departure of Tim. However, I do not understand why this has happened. I listen to you guys and Gal every morning, and although everyone does an outstanding job, it seems like a piece of the puzzle will now be missing. As I've never been in the radio business, can you please explain what happened? I understand and respect all privacy issues involved, but any insight would be appreciated. I wish the best for your crew and show. That from Christopher Worthy. Again, see, here's the thing. It's like radio is it's not anything different than what you do for a living. It's a job. People come, people go, people are happy, people are not happy. It took me a while to learn this. I got caught up in this business a long time ago when I was younger, and I thought the whole world revolved around my show and me and everything I did. And then, I had this enlightening moment where it was like, it's just a job. It's no different than the greeter at Walmart. They're trying to make a living. They're trying to pay bills. They're trying to support their family. It's just how you go about doing it. I have my style. Steve has his style. Tim has his style. Brandy has her style. Nate has his style. Other hosts have their style. It's just how we do it. It's a matter of It's a matter of us trying to cater to what you like. It's impossible to make everyone happy. Absolutely impossible to make as much as I pray to baby Jesus, please be able to make everyone happy. It's impossible. It just is. But we do our best. I do my best. Promise you. I'm a workaholic, man. I'm working probably 14 hours a day. Kid you not. Trying to put on the best show I possibly could for you because I love this city. I love this radio station. I love this company. It's not a kiss-ass thing to say. It's the God's honest truth. This is the first time I've worked in a room for a company with support from the company that I've walked in and I said, this is good and could possibly be great. There's a lot of things that still need to happen with this show, in my opinion, in order to get to that level. I actually think what I'm doing now, talking to you, is a big step because for the past 10 months, I've almost felt like, I've just kind of been there. And, outside of what I can talk about on the air, whether you think I'm pushing my family life down your throat or whatever the case may be, that's just my style. I like to talk about my personal life, and hopefully you can relate to it, especially when I'm talking to a 47-year-old father that's driving his kids to work and can relate to, something I'm dealing with my kids. Or we're talking about something else that maybe a 38-year-old dude that's going to work can relate to because he's using the dildo selfie stick. Who knows? But we do our best and we try every single day. Let's see. It's the next one here. Billy Yates, the third. Hey, Jason, I guess my question is with the shakeup at Cumulus. Are you concerned for your job? I've been through company ownership shakeups before and ended up getting cut, which sucks. I wish you the best because I know you like where you're at. I'm glad you know that. I enjoy listening and hope there are no more cuts. Take care, man. No, again, no. It has nothing to do with the Cumulus shakeup. I mean, that's way up there. I mean, that's just restructuring of a big company. It's things happen, change happens. Most times people don't like change. You got to embrace it because, don't sweat the stuff you can't control. But that has nothing to do with us. If anything, probably the shakeup, or I don't want to say shakeup, but the changes made within the company are going to help our show. But it had nothing to do with Tim. It had nothing to do with Tim. To the best of my knowledge, it had nothing to do with Tim. Tom McCullough, and this is the last one here that I have. It's funny because the questions that I got on Facebook were great questions. There were some repeats. I know some of you had put in questions, but they were the same as what I've already answered. So I hope that's sufficient for you. A lot of the posts were just posts. It's like, here's what I have to say. I'm venting. Bailey, you suck. Steve, you suck. Nate, you suck. Good luck, Brandy. Sinking ship. Blah, blah, blah. Heard it all before. But these are great questions. I mean, fantastic questions. Questions you should have answers to. And I'm doing my best to answer them, and I hope that you appreciate that. Anyway, Tom McCullough, first of all, I've been listening to the show since 1999. When the old host left, I gave your brand new show a try, and I love it. And you and Steve blend so well. The loss of Tim hurts more than any other to date. I'm trying to piece these together. I'm not self-editing. There's some of the grammar is off. Tim timing and unscripted humor was a staple on the show. I know Cumulus is going through some budgetary stuff. Is this lost because of that, or is it a new direction for the show? For what it's worth, I could do without DigiDude, which is Nate. Tim was a much bigger asset. Okay, again, Tim and Nate, two totally different positions on the show. Not one replacing the other, okay? Tim was the executive producer of the show. Nate was brought in to assist Tim and do things that no one else on the show was doing or could do. Website stuff, social media stuff, video stuff. Like when Ted Jenkins comes in on Wednesday, he videotapes that, cuts it up, and we have celebrity guests comes in. Because everybody else has different roles. Tim was working hard as an executive producer, not only if you could see when the mic went off, what an executive producer has to do, it's like 2 times the work, and he just wasn't into that gig. He originally wanted it, but it just became one of those things where I think Tim wanted something bigger. As far as the role on the show thing, a staple on the show and listening since 1999. Again, don't get it twisted. Again, the shows change. I'm a different host than the former host of the old show. It's not that I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just doing what I do. Steve has moved into a different position than what he was prior in his career, where he was either a punching bag or a stunt boy or whatever the case may be. The show's evolving. This show is evolving. This show is evolving. It's not what that was then. I can appreciate your love for what was then, but this is a different show. It's just because we're different personalities, we're different characters, we do things differently. You know, there are some comments about some of the content on the show, which is fine. It's a great question. Like Bailey, I think somebody said Bailey's afraid to talk about politics. Actually, no, I love to talk about politics. But you know what? Politics suck. And this isn't a political show. This is an entertainment show. That's what our vision for the show is, a show to make you laugh. If you answer that question and say, well, you haven't made me laugh, then maybe it's not the show for you, or, you know, maybe keep listening and we'll do our best to try to make you laugh. It's, you know, sports. It's funny because, you know, a lot of people think that I'm a sports talk show host because I was over at Shawshank for a year. No, I'm not a sports talk show host. I'm a fan of sports. I love sports, but I'm not a sports talk show host. I went over there to do an entertainment type of show because that's what they wanted me to do. That's what I've always done. I've hosted, you know, either on a hot talk station or a rock station. I've hosted guy entertainment shows. And politics suck. It's a no-win conversation about politics. It's not entertaining. It doesn't make you laugh. It's boring. And, you know, there are certain ways you can talk about politics, in which I think we do a pretty good job of doing without sitting in there and discussing ISIS for an hour and a half. ISIS. I mean, does that make you laugh? I mean, guys beheading people? I mean, that's not funny to me. So I'd rather talk about something else that might make you laugh. And you know, and that's my call. So that's it. Those are the questions that I picked out. There was a lot more, but throughout all the questions, they're all pretty much asking the same thing. Where'd Tim go? Was he okay with it and stuff like that? Again, all I know, and I can't say everything I know just because of the privacy for Tim. You know, if Tim wants to answer any questions, be more than happy to. And then if he answers them publicly, and if you want to ask me about them, that's fine too. But from my understanding, it was his decision. Will he be missed? Yes. My thoughts on Tim, I think he's extremely talented. I considered him a friend. I consider him a friend. Would I call somebody up that I know that, you know, to help him get a job in a heartbeat? You know, so there's no heat, at least on this side, I mean, that I know of. With other people in the show, there might be. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. So if you have any more questions, feel free. Like I said, the reason why I asked you to PM them on the Facebook page is because if you put them out there for the world to answer, you're not going to get the answer you're looking for, and it's not going to be answered directly. So I'll do some more of these video blogs if you want, and answer some more of the questions. All right? Thank you very much. I do appreciate it, and I hope this is as transparent as I possibly can be with this. All right? All right, have a good one.